This is how I manifested the life that I'm living without changing my thoughts. I just moved to Malaysia with my boyfriend and our 1-year-old daughter. Literally, I got here a day ago. I am a full-time creative embodiment coach, and I coach women to like blow up their income and impact online and in their real life in whatever creative pursuit that they have. I get paid from YouTube. I've been a stay-at-home mom for the whole year of my daughter's life. It was something that I really wanted. Before that, I was a server at IHOP. Who couldn't afford my rent, who was always behind on my car notes, who just could not keep money in my hand to save my life. Sorry if the phone is super shaky. I need to go buy a new tripod because this one is shaky and it's like really windy out here right now. But I couldn't keep money in my pocket. I would always start and stop whatever businesses I would have. I would start and stop my content creation journey. Like it was just always this me starting something and not being able to fulfill it, to like keep my promise to myself. And I tried the traditional like manifestation and I was able to manifest things. So when I first came into the manifestation world, you know, I found Abraham Hicks, I found Neville Goddard, and I was able to create and manifest amazing things in my life, but I couldn't hold on to it. I couldn't keep it. It was like it would always slip out of my hands, or I would like revert back to what I was doing with the change in my thoughts, with visualizing, with affirmations, with the sleep tapes, right? I was doing all of these things and I still felt like I was missing something. I still felt like something was not aligning. This is what changed everything. And this is what we're going to talk about. Is I come from, when I first came to spirituality, I started with non-duality. I loved this idea that like there was really no self, right? The separate self is an illusion. So that was like my introduction to non-duality, because of people like Terrence McKenna, Alan Watts, Rupert Spira, Muji. I started listening to those people on YouTube all the time. But then when I came across like Abraham Hicks, Neville Goddard, I felt like those two ideas couldn't exist, even though Neville is saying like all of these teachers are, but I just recently put those two together, and that's what changed everything for me. So I always thought they were saying to change the thoughts, right? We got to change our thoughts. We got to change our thoughts. I didn't realize that the whole idea is about like choosing your vibrational reality, as Abraham says. It's about your being, as Neville says. So that has nothing to do with changing your thoughts. Like you could think your way there, sure, right? Robotic affirmations, but to me, that's force. That's and even people that do the robotic affirmations, they are still saying it. I don't care what these people are saying. They are saying it with this level of conviction that the being is coming from. Okay, so the thoughts are a byproduct of being the version of yourself who already has it, and you don't have to think yourself there. You can, but you make the risk of losing it when you change your thoughts, right? So somebody just came to the pool. I'm literally like at the pool area, but you have a risk of losing it when you change your thoughts. So for me, that's kind of what happened. Like I would do these practices, and as soon as I stopped the practices, which I also don't recommend. I don't recommend stopping the practices when you go to change your life. I mean, when things start to change, because people make that risk too. It's like the things that got you where you are now, if you don't keep doing them, you're going to lose them. But what's even more important than that is like who you are becoming, who you are being. And you don't have to do anything to be. You are already it. And that's where the non-duality came in, and I really started to see the connections, because before I felt like, oh, if I'm manifesting, that means that I am catering to the separate self, which means that I am strengthening the illusion of being a separate self, because I'm desiring on behalf of the separate self, right? But then I realized that the separate self won't go away. Like I don't care how much like realizations, ahas that you've had, and I've had many, sober and on drugs, like the ego death. The ego is a byproduct of existing in this dualistic realm. It's just about learning how to use it and not let it use you. So it's not about getting rid of it. It's just about seeing that that's exactly what's happening, is that there is actually no separation. It's all one thing. And you are already the everything, because if there's no separation, that must mean that you are everything. And this is not about just thinking that way. It is about actually becoming that version of yourself. This is about becoming that version of yourself that has everything that you desire, right? So when you stop identifying so much with being a separate self, you recognize that it's all you, because you are starting to see, right? You started to rest as yourself. You are starting to rest as the observer and notice the thoughts, the coming and the going. Noticing that like you are not coming and going, but your experience does. And all of a sudden you are tapping in to this infinite resource that is the everything. And then you can now identify with what it is that you want, and that becomes your reality. So that is how I manifested the things in my life now, is not by changing my thoughts and visualizing all day and doing affirmations. Like, and I'm not shitting on those things, because those things have definitely helped. Like I use those as tools, but what it really is and what's led to this consistency, I would say, right before I had my daughter, maybe when my daughter was like, when I was like 7 or 8 months pregnant, I got serious with saying, I'm no longer going to tiptoe around this truth that I am the everything. I am going to start to notice it in my everyday experience. And what did that look like? It looked like me watching the thoughts, right? Watching my sensations, watching reality with this sense of like detachment, with this sense of I am not it. It is just appearing within me. And being consistent and dedicated to doing that every day. And do I always do it? No, but it's my intention to do it as much as I can. So with that, that has allowed me to get in touch with my being, so that my thoughts naturally, so that my actions naturally followed whatever version of reality that I wanted to choose. It didn't feel like this forceful thing. It didn't feel like I had to try so hard. Like when it comes to building my business, I had no idea how to build a business. But I identified with a business owner because I first realized that I was nothing. Because I am nothing, I can identify with whatever I want without any attachment, without any needing it to be that way. It's just the play of consciousness choosing this particular form. And that's exactly what happened. So, and every single time now in my life, like even with this trip, I just started to identify as someone who left the United States, who travels the world with her family. I had no idea how it was going to come about. And if you guys want a story, I will tell you the story about how it came about. But I had no idea how that was going to happen. I just identified with the version of myself that was that was traveling the world, right? That left the country and was able to do that. This was before my business was successful. This was before me and my boyfriend were on good terms. Right? When I'm pregnant with his kid, he wasn't even talking to me. But I'm identifying as this version of myself without any attachment, because I am the everything. So it had nothing to do with changing my thoughts. But by identifying with this, the thoughts came to me. Thoughts are being signaled to you based on the frequency that you are operating in. So if I'm operating in this frequency of separation, of course the thoughts that are being signaled to me are thoughts of separation, lack, fear, anxiety, right? These are the thoughts that are being signaled to me because I'm identified as a separate individual. But when I start to identify as who I truly am, which is the everything, which is consciousness, which is the dreamer of the dream, now all of a sudden I'm vibrating at this much higher frequency, where the thoughts that are being signaled to me are one of like wholeness, love, joy, union, right? It's completely different set of thoughts that I am now receiving. And because this is the identity, because I'm like consciously choosing, right? This is where the affirmations become important, where the subconscious reprogramming becomes important, where the nervous system regulation becomes important to like help the individual, because it's like, well, this is the integration work, right? You go from being everything to being a person, but you don't want to identify with fully being separate. So then you start to integrate the teachings. And with the integration, you can start to choose which reality you want to exist in while keeping the knowing that you are simply dreaming it. You're not even choosing it. That's also the illusion. But it's like, can you hold both of these ideas that you are everything and nothing at the same time? And like, even saying nothing, I just make it not even, I don't like to say nothing, because there is no such thing as nothing. Nothing is full of everything. But can you hold the idea that you are your whole self, you are the dreamer, while also being the character in the dream at the same time? That becomes the work. And I think that takes a lifetime, because of the conditioning, because of the coding that we've received about being separate, because the world is constantly affirming to you that you are separate, because the world seems so real, because other people seem so real, and they are in a sense. But you are just also that great of a creator that you've created others to vibrate to a certain frequency, to where they receive thoughts that feel like it's really belonging to them, and they are an identity and they are a body. Like, that's how magnificent and amazing you are. You can't realize it because you are thinking from the separate self. So I stopped thinking from a separate self. And it didn't mean that I no longer received thoughts as Taylor or thought as Taylor. It just meant I stopped thinking. Like, when thoughts came, I observed. I just remained as myself. I didn't have to try to be you don't have to try to be yourself. You're already doing it now. Are you aware of this video? As soon as you notice that you are aware, you're doing it. So that's exactly what happened with me, is I just stopped trying to do anything. And I just started noticing the trying happening. Oh, there I am again. And let me give another example. And I feel like I'm all over the place, but that's okay. I love it. I love it. I love it. I know you love it too. because we think the same. And I know you following it. You're like, girl, I get it. I know you do. But even when example. So I was on a plane and I was getting some anxiety. I usually never have anxiety either while I'm on a plane, but I was getting anxiety and I'm like, oh my God, what if we crash? What if we die? Like, we're making this big move. And of course I'm going to die before our big move. But then I started thought, it's like, why are you afraid of death? Like, that's not even you. And it's like the thoughts are so, they're so, I don't want to say conniving, but convincing. That's what I'm looking for. They are very convincing that the thoughts can really convince me that is me, that I am the one thinking these thoughts and not the one that's simply observing them. So I saw what was going on and I said, oh, let me change my thoughts. Let me start to think more positive. Let me relax myself. No, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be safe. I'm not going to die. Everything's fine. But then I said, but even that's being seen as well. I'm not those thoughts either. I'm none of this. And then even that thought of I'm not these thoughts is being seen. Who I really am is beyond comprehension. Who I really am is observing this and not affected by it. The who I really am is not experiencing anxiety. It's aware of anxiety, right? Who I really am is not experiencing any of this. It is aware of these things. So with that, I was able to completely relax, like, and not relax is like, oh, I was no longer feeling the anxiety, but it was like not a problem. The only reason why we have problems is because we label them as problems. There really are no problems. There are zero problems. There's nothing happening. So yeah, sorry, I thought somebody was recording me. If they are, who cares? I'm a star, right? I'm a star. But yeah, there are no problems. It's just the mind that's thinking that way and creating it. So I stopped creating problems, or I stopped identifying with the thoughts that were creating a separate identity. I stopped identifying with thoughts that were creating the problems. I started to just witness them, and I just started to watch them. And it's as simple as you watching this video right now. Can you just do that all the time? Like, just keep reminding yourself that, like, oh, something is aware of my thoughts right now. Something is aware of my sensations. What is it that's aware? This is self-inquiry. I have a guide on self-inquiry. I was offering it inside of my membership. I'm gonna start offering it again. I was offering it for $7. I'm gonna start offering it again. $7 self-inquiry guide. Book it down below. This is what self-inquiry is. It's constantly questioning the nature of who you are. Who am I really? Who is it that's aware of my experience? Or like, what is it that's watching my experience? Who am I? Because if I'm not my thoughts, then who am I? Because I've believed myself to be my thoughts for my entire life. The thoughts that are coming and going, I believe this was me. I've been getting research like around improving my life. And people are always saying, it's your thinking. You have limited beliefs. You got to change your beliefs. But now I'm coming through direct experience from just like observing the mind that I am not actually this conditioned mind. I am the one that's witnessing it. But every time I try to figure out what it is that's witnessing it, I'm met with another thought. And if I'm met with another thought and I'm aware of that thought, then that obviously cannot be who I am. So what is it that's aware of the thoughts? What is it that's aware of the experience? That becomes the question. And the answer arises not through a thought, not through a feeling. I mean, I guess through a feeling, but it arises through a knowing. And I guess knowing is a feeling. It's this certainty that I am that I am. I am that I am that I am. I am. I am. I am. I am. That's it. And from there, again, all the thoughts that flow to me are exactly what I need to embody whatever version of the identity that I want in the dream character that I want to be. It all comes alive for me. I don't have to force it. I don't have to fight. I still get caught up in the humanness of it all, but there's like, who's getting caught up in the humanness? It's just the observer watching the show of Taylor, I got out of the way. And it appears as if I, Taylor, am the one doing this. I, Taylor, and I come here, I tell you guys about techniques and to do X, Y, and Z. But what I'm always inviting you into is this deeper recognition. Is this deeper recognition that it's happening. You are not doing it. It is happening for you. But there has to be this idea of you doing it so that you can soften up, or this nervous system regulation so that your body can get more regulated. Because when you're so stressed out, it's hard to see this, because it's like, when you're stressed, you go into survival, and like, what's trying to survive? This identity, this illusion of being a separate self. That's what's trying to survive. So when you go out of that and you step into, I mean, not when you go out of that, when you can regulate yourself, then you get out of survival and you're no longer trying to protect a false identity, and you start to flow with life, and you're like more relaxed. You're more at ease. You're allowing things more. There is nothing to protect. And then this can become more obvious. So this is why nervous system regulation is important. This is why affirmations are important, because if you're always thinking from the identity of a separate self, even this message can be hard. So it's like, get yourself to think in more positive, uplifting ways so that you can regulate yourself, relieve some of your stress, just like tag on to this. But this is always the ultimate goal, is getting you to see that you are the everything. You are not a separate self. And that's exactly what I was able to see, that I am the everything. I am not a separate self. And from that, everything just flowed. And that is how I live my life. Everything just flows to me. Everything just happens. I get what I want all the time. And this is not because I was saying affirmations like, I get what I want, everything works out for me. No, because I just started to watch my experience, just notice it. And those thoughts got signaled to me and they felt good. So then I didn't cling on to them, but I put my attention on them because I like them. And any thoughts that I like, I put my attention on. So then you learn how to like move your attention, because it's not fixated on the one thing. Your energy isn't being hijacked by this illusion of being a separate self and all the baggage that comes with it. You are the everything. So your energy is free. And with that freedom comes choosing, because you have the energy to choose what you desire. And that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I continue to do. I just choose what I want. I want this. Got it. I want this. Got it. I trust that it's coming. I'm not sitting there when, how, and why, or whatever. Who, what. I'm not doing the W's. I'm just deciding. I'm making a decision, and then I'm getting what I want, knowing that it's mine, because I am the everything. And it's all a reflection. It's going to reflect whatever state that I choose. And like being the everything, I just got to like put my attention on the one thing that I want and allow it to flow to me. So yeah, that's what I did. And I'm living a beautiful life, and I'm blessed, and I'm grateful that I get to like share this with others, to, you know, teach others how to do the same, especially with my clients. Teach them how to do the same. Teach them how to live an abundant life by knowing the truth of who they are. And I'm just grateful. My heart is so full, and I don't want to say, oh, I could have never imagined this for myself, because I did imagine it for myself. Absolutely, which is why the techniques are important, right? The imagining and all the other stuff. But I didn't imagine this stuff from the identity of being a separate self. I imagined it from knowing that I'm dreaming, period. Knowing that I'm God, period. That's it. So the title of the video is going to be something like, oh, I changed my life without changing my thoughts. I changed my life because I claimed being God. I claimed being the dreamer of the dream. I claimed it. I knew it. I practiced seeing it in my everyday experience. And that was that. So yeah, if you like this video, let me know down below. Any questions that you have, let me know down below. All the links for how to work with me and any offers that I have currently are down below. And that's all I got to talk to you guys soon. Bye.